my name is Bailey Oliver. I'm a senior at Florida State, and I am in the College of Communication and Science Disorders. So for my project, we looked at acoustic indicators of cognitive load. We've noticed that bilingual speakers show higher cognitive load in their second language, and so we analyzed their speech through different rapid naming tasks and paragraph readings, and we found that you can actually analyze someone's cognitive load in a very simple way through analyzing their speech. And we found this through looking at the speaking rate and also the articulation rate, as well as comparing their values for the fundamental frequency, their amplitude, and their duration for their speaking tasks.
So my name is Catherine Vorneveld, and I am a first-year Media and Communication Studies student. I was working specifically in the School of Communication with Miss Malia Brucker, and we were working with an organization called Edit Media, which is all about equitable, diverse, and inclusive media education. And throughout our research, what we did was we talked to different organizations, different faculty members, student groups, different people on FSU's campus to see exactly how these inclusive teaching practices could be implemented to media production and film students specifically. One of the things I did was I reached out to my professor and my class for my social inequalities class, which is an honors experience course, and I asked them a series of questions about what the course had done for them, how they think it might help students studying media production. And with all this information, what I do is I write blog posts for the website. So right now only one has been published, which is the one about the social inequalities class, but I'm also in the process of working on another one talking about the CARE program and how that might potentially help first generation media and or technology students.
My name is Radhika Basinski, and I am a senior at Florida State University in the College of Communication and Information studying ICT, and my research project was analyzing data from STARS, which is an on-campus organization that I'm a part of. And essentially our goal is to get more women into STEM and also more minorities into STEM. So over the past 3 years, we've had, I want to say, about 200 events each academic year. And I essentially analyzed all of that data to see if we are reaching our organization's goals.
Hi, I'm Kaylen. I'm a sophomore studying communication science and disorders, and I'm from Tallahassee too, and I'm in the undergraduate research opportunity program this past year. And what I've really done with this program is learned about supporting emergent writing in preschoolers. So what I did in my project is I worked with a PhD student in the College of Communication Science and Disorders, and we really looked at the teacher strategies that they use for emergent writing in preschoolers. So what we're doing right now is we're going to different preschools around the Tallahassee area, and we're learning what strategies they use to help a student finish a writing task. And those students can range from like 3 to 4, maybe 5 years old, so it's really interesting to see what they actually do when given these tasks. So they're given a birthday invitation, a grocery list, and then also picture captions to write, and we basically just record them, and the teacher has no idea what we're recording or like looking for. So it's really interesting to see what writing tasks they do, from like modeling and telling the student like what exactly to write, to like doing hand over hand and actually helping them physically write the task. And these children, they're different ranges of like intelligence, development-wise. So it's really just a really cool experience to see what actually happens when we're trying to teach children how to write, how to draw even. So yeah, but that's basically what I learned this year, and I'm really excited to continue it this summer with my research mentor and hopefully in the fall as well too.
Well, my name's Caleb Wilson. I'm a freshman here at FSU with the College of Information, and this study is focused on examining the information needs of diabetes patients. Because in the past few years, there's been a big push towards more personalized health care and patients taking a much more active role in their health. And one of the ways that that's manifested is hospitals are beginning to develop patient portals where they'll provide patients with their test results, diagnoses, those types of things. But it's really not understood how effective these kinds of methods are in communicating information to patients. So we wanted to examine what kind of information patients are being provided with and what information they understand. So we examined around 58,000 posts on online media or online social media forums such as Yahoo Answers, Quora, narrowed it down by relevance, and took a random sampling of those. We're able to develop a code book where we would flag each post with different types of information needs codes and different types of information provided codes. And so we were able to establish a concurrence analysis, determine what kind of information needs codes most commonly occur, what kind of information provided codes, and be able to kind of develop and get a picture of what the most common scenario amongst these diabetes patients are. So we were able to establish that the most common scenario is essentially where a patient would be provided with specific test results, but not necessarily know how to interpret those test results and what they would mean. As well, they might understand those test results, but not necessarily know what they should be doing next. Another common scenario would be where they would simply be inquiring general information about a test result, such as how to prepare for it, what they should expect. And all of this is information that's supposed to be provided by their hospital and doctor, and hospitals and doctors are trying to provide that information, but obviously there's some kind of disconnect between how effectively doctors and hospitals are communicating this information. So we hope in further research that this can be backed up and we can delve further into why this disconnect between doctors and hospitals exists, ultimately so the patients can continue to take that active role in their own health.
Hi, my name is Emma Metzler. I'm an undergraduate student in the School of Communication Sciences and Disorders, and my project is differential item functioning in the TVIP between monolingual and bilingual children, monolingual Spanish-speaking children in the School of Communication Sciences and Disorders. And our project was really about testing the difference in how children performed on the TVIP, which is a Spanish receptive vocabulary test. And the test was designed for monolingual children, so we wanted to see if there were any items that showed bias. For example, item 35, the word bebida, so that is a word that is only used in very specific parts of Spanish-speaking countries. And so that's obviously a test that for a bilingual child raised in America, that item is they're not going to perform as well, and maybe the whole test is it going to be invalid. And so we found 6 items that show differential item functioning, and differential item functioning was important because it controlled for their Spanish-speaking ability. And so we only found 6 items, which of an 83 item test, obviously, you know, it's not that bad, so maybe just those 6 items should be taken out for future research. Maybe finding a test that doesn't have those items at all, or for clinical SLPs to not make a diagnosis for a bilingual child just based on this one test. But it's still useful in a more holistic approach.
All right. Hi, my name is Maile Moyer. I'm a senior in the School of Communication Science and Disorders, and I did a research poster on my honors in the major research. I did a scoping study on the effectiveness of voice therapy on muscle tension dysphonia, which is a common voice disorder that occurs. Over the past 10 years, there have been only 3 meta-analyses about the effectiveness of voice therapy on MTD, and other articles have come out that rank lower in terms of scientific research and evidence. So the purpose of this scoping study was to evaluate the evidence out there about the effectiveness of voice therapy on MTD. So we came up with a criteria list, as you can see here, and we looked in specific journals and databases to see what we could find. And we found 96 articles that found what we were looking for, but we had to edit our criteria list to include more than MTD, include other structural vocal pathologies such as vocal nodules, vocal polyps, to include more articles in our study. So from 96 articles that we found, we ended up with 9, as you can see here. Some of the trends we saw that they were, of course, all adult study samples who were diagnosed with MTD and other voice disorders. And also, they all showed effectiveness of treatment for MTD and the other voice disorders they were treated for. But there were 3 main problems we saw with the research that we believe there needs to be further research done. One was the prevalence of emotional aspects to the voice and voice therapy, and further research needs to be done to see about client adherence to treatment for those issues. Also, the study samples need to be matched demographically so we can generalize to all populations with voice disorders. And finally, more research needs to be done exclusively on MTD and how the effectiveness of treatment can help treat that, and higher research study designs need to be utilized.